So Mike Aaron is the principal and founder of his own company called Fractional EA, which is executive assistant. He's going to be talking about something that's a little bit different. His topic is modern threats, outdated defenses, and it's going to be updating your personal digital security. He's going to be talking about digital threats that are escalating because of artificial intelligence. He has made a career as an executive assistant, long enjoying the technological tools and aspects of the field. But as he looks at the power of artificial intelligence, he's proactively reinventing his career focus, both from the context of creating a new career, because AI will soon take his current career, but also because AI is creating new threats and, as always, new opportunities. He now helps others to defend against AI-powered threats, but also regularly uses AI as a tool himself. In fact, what you see before you is not a human, but rather an AI-generated persona. Just kidding, he's a real person, probably. Let's give a warm welcome to one of our own, Mike Aaron.
Good morning, y'all. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Um, I will at least partially apologize. I am here to scare you today. Um, but it's a healthy fear, and I'm gonna at the end give you at least some ways to deal with it that I think will be helpful. Okay, let me pull up my presentation, do that,
By the way, Mike
and do
said that if you have
that.
a question uh, during the meeting, just unmute and say, I have a question. You can ask it. If you'd rather not do that or you don't have a mic that works, you can put your question in the chat.
If you don't have a mic that works, I'm available, just for sake of knowledge. Um, okay, so a little bit of housekeeping. First off, I can't see you. I've got my presentation in front. Um, I'm going to jump to number three. If you have questions, and I will seek a little bit of audience participation in a few minutes, please speak up. Just unmute, interrupt me. You're also welcome to put something in the chat. Kathy, you're monitoring chat, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Okay. Number two, I have a dog. There may be barking. If there is, I may have to deal with it and we'll keep moving. Number three, I like to cuss a little bit. I consider cussing to be the jalapenos of the language. However, it's not required. If there is someone who would prefer that I not cuss, please speak up now. Put something in the chat. It's not required. I just kind of enjoy it. I think it adds a little. So I'm going to give just a second to see if there's any feedback. Going, going. Okay. On with the program. So why does this matter? Why am I sitting here talking with you? Um, digital fraud is increasing exponentially. It is estimated, at least some circles, it may exceed $10 trillion globally this year. To put that into perspective, that's like a third of our national debt, a third of our national GDP. It is not a trivial number. Why am I talking to you right now? My family and friends have lost at least 300,000. That's what I know of. And I want to protect and help other people not to do that. Uh, Mostly, the reason I'm sitting here talking with you and not to IT people is because digital security isn't really a tech problem. It uses tech a lot of times, but it's primarily a human problem. Okay, so audience participation. Woo! Does anybody in the audience have experience of either being hacked or attacked? Please just unmute, introduce yourself, and maybe say,
I have, I'm Yvette. I
hey,
have
that
uh, not, I have been attacked and it is continual. It's continual.
it is. Have you lost anything, Yvette, or do you know of anyone who has?
Yes, I lost money. I did
Okay.
lose. It was a
I
fake job
am
posting. When you're desperate, you're vulnerable.
Absolutely. I will make that point again. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mike, quick question. Have you started to share your screen yet, or did you think you had?
Oh, yes.
It is not. We see you and that fabulous screen behind you and that great piece of artwork, but we do not yet see your slides.
Excellent. Feedback is fantastic. Okay, this worked a few minutes ago when we were doing a test. Okay, we're going to try it one more time. Okay, so let me do apologies. Thank you. That
I just didn't want all your hard work to go for
Yep.
naught.
Now we're there.
And
Just
so,
okay.
get it in presentation and we're good.
That and that.
Perfect.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you. This is my first time doing not my first time doing a Zoom presentation, but it's one of the first times I've done something with PowerPoint, etc. So appreciate your feedback. Okay, so this is how AI was being used in 2022. We were making fun pictures of ourselves. My stepson, this was a real thing he sent me. He asked ChatGPT to write a biblical verse in the style of the King James Bible, explaining how to remove a peanut butter sandwich from a VCR. It did a pretty good job. Um, it it was fun. It's still fun. It's useful. This is part of how it's being used today. So I'm just going to run through a couple of examples. I got a phone call. I didn't pick it up, and I recommend that you not pick up phone calls from unknown numbers. Uh, it's hard when you're job searching. I get it. This call came from Liberty Hill, Texas. The transcription afterwards said, "This is Expedia calling. We have travel opportunities we'd like to offer you." They had an Indian accent. There was definitely a call center background from Liberty Hill, Texas. Probably not. Expedia has an office here in Austin, but I'm guessing this was not them. Um, there are federal agencies that are being impersonated. The FTC, the FBI, the CIA, the SSA, the ABC, the XYZ, they're all being used. And I'll get into why in a few minutes. But government imposter scams hit about $789 million in 2024. This is money you don't get back, folks. Um, you're constantly getting phone calls, you're constantly getting texts. Down here in the bottom left, an old friend of mine, someone I know, and these are from actual posts that from social media, she thought she was dealing with the FBI. She wasn't. They had basically created fraudulent transactions and then contacted her because they knew about it and they said, "We're with the FBI. We're investigating these fraudulent transactions and we need your help. And by the way, you can't talk to the bank about it because that's an ongoing investigation. You'll be subject to $5,000 fines or 5 years in jail." This is how they get to you. A friend of mine's voice was actually deep faked and they used it to call his mom. Fortunately, his sister was with his mom and she called him and said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Talking to you. Why?" So they were able to escape that one. At the bottom right, I'm going to pull this one up particularly because of my audience. I'm going to read it because it's a little fun. So, "Hi there. I am Kent. I have information that could interest you regarding a specific employment. Can we talk for a bit today?" So, in a way, we're going to be thinking about these as the good old days. It's easy to figure out if you know how to look, what's going on with these things. They use official titles like information minister to sound official. They use email addresses that don't match. It's someone I don't recognize. I don't know a Susan Earl, and if I did, I'm pretty darn sure her email address would not be Outlook underscore 0AD9C85E16, etc. You've been selected to receive a sum of $200,000 health benefit donation. Fascinating. These are things that you can pay attention to if you slow down, if you do not react immediately. So again, we're going to think of that as the good old days because right now you can put a prompt into ChatGPT saying, "Hey, could you generate a cleaner version of this email that'll sound less scammy?" ChatGPT told me, "Sure, bro, I gotcha. Here's a less scammy version." It's going to get worse. It's going to get harder to catch this stuff. This is from a LinkedIn post or LinkedIn message that Shannon got. It's from Sandra Pennington. Sandra Pennington, a talent recruiter. Are you looking for opportunities? When Shannon responded, it was a bait and switch. These things are coming through your LinkedIn, they're coming through your Facebook, they're coming through trusted sources. And the reason this is an issue is because job seekers are vulnerable. You're in a job search, you're overwhelmed, you're helping your family, you're doing the laundry, you've got 30 things to do, you're stressed, you're not sleeping great. These things make you open to manipulation. I've seen it estimated that depending on how much sleep you get, it's like drinking. There are also fake job descriptions. Thank you for illustrating that earlier. Um, they want your information, but you know what? They don't even need to do that. Your information is easy to find. This is the example at the bottom of the page is real. This is something I came across literally 3 days ago. Someone on LinkedIn, they manage a play group for their neighborhood, but they call it by their street name. So I know their street name. They say they have a little library, little free library on their LinkedIn page. If you go to Street Maps, I was able to tell exactly which house. Sorry, I literally have my phone muted and I'm still getting calls. I don't understand. Um, on their Facebook page, they're posting things from their vacation. I'm out of the country right now. If you cross-reference the two, out of the country, here's my address. Now, many of you are shaking your heads going, I would never do that. But your social media is probably not locked down. You're constantly getting fake and duped friend requests, and we live our lives online right now. It's just how we exist, so your stuff is out there. This is from Fast People Search. A fellow named John Smith. I just randomly looked it up. You can see John Smith's city, his age, so they've got the birth year, current home address, past addresses, current cell number, past phone numbers, and if you look at the bottom, it's got the relative names. So they know who your people are, they know where you are, they know how to contact you, they've got your information. There's a site called Have I Been Pwned? It's a really useful site. I made up an email address, johnasmith@gmail.com. I'm sure it's somebody's real email address because it came up with 34 data breaches. Data breaches you're all familiar with. That is, somebody breaks into a corporate site or a nonprofit site or a government site. They steal contact information, which may or may not include passwords, date of birth, social security number, and it's online for sale. The point is, they have your information. What do they do with it? They use it to leverage and get more information from you. They use it to contact you. They send you stuff and get a virus on your phone. They get you to click on something because they know what services you use. Once they can actually get into your system because of the social engineering, This allows them, this enables 70% of data breaches. And this is, in one way or another, social engineering is involved in about 98% of cyber attacks. So how does it work? It works on our psychology. Um, there's an anthropologist named Robin Dunbar who famously proposed that up to 80% of our cognitive capacity is spent on social topics, how we're related to someone, how we interact with people. This is related to trust. Impersonation is a fantastic example of how trust gets used. They pretend to be somebody else, our son, the FBI. It relaxes our defenses and we don't pay as strong attention. We are not as skeptical as we might otherwise be. And that's all it takes, just a little bit. Okay, so if a presenter ever does this, if they have this many bullets, stop paying attention to them. Run far away, generally speaking. But I'm doing it because this is really important, folks. This is something that we are not used to dealing with. This is new stuff, and I want to make a point. There are all these native psychological backdoors that we have because of the way our brain works. We're used to dealing with urgent things. When we are scared, our amygdala takes over, and our prefrontal cortex, our logic base, our skepticism recedes. Authority and trust, curiosity and novelty, reciprocity and obligation, all of these things are examples of how they get past our defenses. I'm just going to run through some examples. I'm going to do it quick. Don't try and read it. I apologize for doing this. I'm doing it anyway because it's important. Urgency and fear. Your account will be closed unless you contact us immediately. You've gotten emails like this. You get texts like this. One bad night's sleep, and you might click on something. Authority and trust. Deep fake phone call impersonating someone you know. FBI contacting you. No. Curiosity and novelty. You won't believe this. It's called clickbait. We click on it all the time. Reciprocity and obligation. One of the most fascinating ones I've seen is someone reaching out and saying, "Hi, I accidentally deposited $300 into your PayPal account. Would you mind sending it back?" This is a real thing. Scarcity, limited opportunities, social proof, herd mentality. All your friends are doing it. This works. Marketers have been doing it for years, and now scammers are using it. Familiarity and repetition. You get ads for things like Netflix, like Amazon, like your bank. Fatigue and cognitive overload. You are getting things constantly. You're at higher risk right now. Okay, so where are you at risk? Your email. Your primary email account is the key to your kingdom. I want you to lock this down. If you haven't changed your password recently, if you don't have other ways to get in, if you don't have multi-factor authentication, please do it. Financial, your banks, your credit cards, your money apps, there are so many different ways that we are vulnerable online these days. Anywhere money is attached. Your identity, especially Experian and TransUnion, you should freeze your credit if you're not actively using it right now. Dropbox, Think.com, all the cloud storage, shopping, delivery, health sites, and especially social media. Okay, I've scared you enough. Let's give you some options. There are simple steps you can take. Change your primary email password. Enable multi-factor authentication on your critical account. Use a password manager. You should not be remembering your passwords, and you should definitely not be repeating them or using things from your life. I'll give you a few specific guidelines in a minute. Use an authenticator app. Lock your devices, put passcodes on, keep your software updated, adjust your privacy settings, and most of all, slow down. If someone says you have to do something now, make sure of it. Password 101, length is important. Um, you should be using at least 12 to 14 characters for just your general use passwords. For your important, your critical passwords, at least 16. You don't have to remember these things. You can use a password manager. If you get anything out of my talk today, this is important. Passphrases. Something like green toad drives 98 miles is better than short, complex stuff. Every account, and especially your critical accounts, should have different passwords. There's something called credential stuffing. This is where if they know you're using a specific uh, service, a bank, a shopping, and they know at least some of your passwords, they'll just throw it in. They've got bots that'll do this all day long in many different time zones. So use unique passwords. Like I said, and I'm just gonna hit it again and again and again. It takes 7 times to remember something. Use a password manager. There are free password managers out there. 1Password is not, but both Bitwarden and ProtonPass have free versions. They're not as bell and whistly, but they're free. And avoid predictable patterns. Do not use information that can be found online. Don't use your birth dates. Don't use your child's or your pet names. Don't use common words. And do not recycle, like password 2023, password 2024, etc. Use multi-factor authentication for your critical accounts. If your password is out there, if someone's credential stuffing, this will add a second layer of protection. Good is text. You know, the ones where they text you a number and you add it, but those can be intercepted these days. Better is an authenticator app or passkeys. Fingerprint, facial recognition, these are good. The best is hardware. You can buy a hardware key. To be honest, I don't even use that, though I might, more because it's professional for me. And protect your devices. Use passcodes, lock them. I actually was visiting my dad. This was 2 months ago, something like that. Um, we had come back from dinner. My uncle's computer was sitting open on the counter, and we found someone was scrolling through his Chrome password page. We had left it open. His computer had been compromised. Um, this is why a password manager is better. If someone has access to your account, it makes it much more difficult to find your passwords. Don't use auto login to your sensitive accounts. Keep your software updated. Limit your app permissions. Don't give them access to each other.
Mike, can you
Yes.
explain password managers? Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do understand them, but then there's Luddites like me, near Luddites, who are averse to using them, even though my husband does. So yeah, I obviously should be. I would just like to learn more about how they work and because when you do get this really long string of all these weird numbers and letters, where am I going to find that if I need that?
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Happy to. Um, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I want to make my screen bigger. I'm just going to show you my password manager. So I use 1Password right here. I'm going to unlock it with my fingerprint. So let's see, all items. I have hundreds, hundreds of passwords. We've just gotten to the E's. I've been scrolling. I have my password manager on my phone. I have my password manager on my computer. I have my password manager on my iPad. The way it works is they keep it primarily in the cloud. So everything is synced. I have one password, one primary password. It's 25 characters long. It is a name of a book with a couple extra characters added on, something that I'll easily remember. I only need to enter that one password or my fingerprint to get in, but somebody else would not be able to access it because they also have a something like a 45-digit string that you have to enter to be able to get into it from another computer. It is it's considered generally industry standard. Um, there are multiple password managers out there. I don't recommend, for example, LastPass. They've been breached. One Password never been breached. I'm not aware that Proton Pass or Bitwarden have ever been breached. They are strong. What you do is the very first thing I do when I'm creating a new logon, I run over to my one password and I create the login there. I add the name so it's easy to find. I add the URL so it will log in automatically, and I have it create a password for me. But the reason, for example, one password is called one password is because I don't ever want to have to remember them. If I have to remember it, then I'm not using a complex password, and it's probably not unique for the 300 that I have. Did that help answer the question? Is there a follow-up on that?
Yeah, I think it's just more the idea of, so like every once in a while I hear my husband curse that he has to go in and find, a lot of times it's dealing with our Apple apps on our TV. Somebody's
Hmm.
decided, Disney's decided you need to have to re-log in, and he's like, I don't know that password. And so he has to go into the password manager to find it. And so that's kind of what I was curious about.
So it's an excellent point, and I'm going to make a what I hope is a better point. It's the world we live in these days. It's just your life now. Using enhanced security and oh, mother effer. Um, because I have to go over to another machine and and say, yes, it's really me. That is such a small annoyance compared to losing $20,000, compared to having your identity compromised and having that lack of security all in your life. Okay, have they downloaded my entire email? Do they have access? Have they locked me out? Are they still in there? I don't know. What did June
One
say?
of the
She was a
chat
bit.
items says I couldn't remember my master password for Keeper and got locked out permanently.
Oh dear.
Uh, what you do in that case is you get a new account or something like that, but write it down in some place safe. This is critical. The same security it uses to keep all the bad people out and keep you out. And I'm sorry that happened to you. That is incredibly frustrating. But again, it's recoverable. If you have to change all your passwords, let's see. I'm going to do a quick chat check since I'm not presenting. Yeah, you have an option to download them locally. Um, Only a matter of time. Safe deposit box, small inconvenience. Again, let me make the point. The frustration of that was losing your master password was exceptional. The frustration of having all of your information available to someone who actually wants to do you harm, worse.
So, Mike, I have a question, if I may. And actually, Barry brought this up in the chat, right? About
Yeah.
a lot of password managers store your passwords on the cloud, right? So they can sync by device. And a lot of people have seemingly strong opinions on that. Oh, you should never do that, right? And yeah, if you want, and I don't share that opinion myself, right? I feel like, if you understand how your password manager is taking custody of those passwords and not actually storing them in the clear, right? Right. But what's your view on that, right? Because that seems to be a very passionate thing. And I think to me, one of the reasons people don't use password managers is like it's storing my passwords in the cloud, right? And a lot of people really don't like that. What's your take on that?
My take is, what's your alternative? Right now, people are storing them locally on a spreadsheet. That's easier to compromise. They're storing them. Um, I know people who keep them on a pad in a drawer. That's,
Yes.
I'm okay with that. I really am, because it's not something that can be compromised digitally. Um, you're obviously running the risk of, if someone that you don't trust gets into your home. I've got I've got friends who actually asked me for help with a password manager because their teenage son was getting into their stuff. Um, it's it depends on your comfort with having things in the cloud. If you're not comfortable with it, don't use it. But your stuff is already in the cloud. Password managers are actively working to detect threats, to um, sometimes they can get compromised. LastPass was compromised
Yep.
multiple times.
Yep.
Um, but it depends on your level of risk, your comfort. I'm not going to tell someone who doesn't want to do it to use it. I'll tell them to come up with a better system. But these are some of the pros in the field, and as I think June said, they're encrypted. So they're using some pretty sophisticated um, defensive strategies, and it's the best we've got right now. Uh, like I said, one of the best options, if you really want to, is use one of those physical password keys. And if you want to lock your stuff on your computer that way, um, that's okay. You need to do what's comfortable to you. But what I will say is our current strategies don't work as a general rule. I Now that I'm doing this as a job, probably 75% of my conversations with people include, oh yeah, my aunt got hit, or yeah, someone stole my cousin's identity. So it's relative risk. You got to do what you're comfortable with.
Hey,
Okay,
Mike,
Catherine's,
can
yeah,
I just add a comment?
please.
So, as somebody who's been the victim of identity theft, I never really thought too much about this before that happened.
Hmm.
But given that I work in the tech field and I have a lot of friends who are security experts, have their security credentials, which I am myself am working on, I've gone to what you just said, where I'm writing it down in my
Hmm.
house on a notebook, that if you broke into my house, you would have to know that that notebook holds passwords.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you would not know, right? It's blended in with everything in the house, so there's no way for you to really understand that. I used to do 1Password when it was allowing me to store them locally,
Yep.
but when you think about banks and credit companies who are very secure, and their encryption methodologies are as good as Visa or any of these other companies, and they've been breached. It doesn't leave a lot of confidence from my perspective that these other places are going to be able to have my most precious passwords stored securely and safely. So I've
Yep.
gone back to this hey, I'm going to write them all down in a book that's stored in my house, and I'm never going to use a password that gets into an account while I'm out of my house. If I need to access some information that's vital, it will be something that maybe I would have the use of a password manager for an account that's not vital while I'm out and about. But there are so many scammers out there these days that are using sophisticated tools like AI for guessing our information that it's just not worth the risk for me anymore.
I respect it. Total respect. What my 2 points are: a password manager, unique passwords, etc., is better than what most people are using now.
Yes,
And number two, it's a balance of convenience and security.
yes,
You've made the choice that you're not going to access anything critical while you're out and about.
yeah,
Um, that doesn't work for me personally. It doesn't work
yeah,
for a lot of people these days. So if
yeah,
they're going
yeah.
to do that, be more secure about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you've said. Multi-factor authentication. I have the use of VIP, which is a semantic. It's not a hard encrypted code. So you could have one of those key fobs sent to you, which I used to do for banking and
Mhm.
trading stuff. But now I've gone to a key fob that's software generated that changes every minute. So those are the ways that I've gone to protect myself. Yeah. So love
Absolutely.
everything you're saying today. It's we definitely need to be more secure and aware of these things. So thanks for sharing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It is especially for job seekers who are in what is obviously a vulnerable place, a place of uncertainty, that contributes to compromise,
Yeah.
um, even internal psychology. Um, any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna finish. I've only got a few more slides. So with your passcodes, don't use predictable passcodes. These things are very common. This is a heat map of passcode of pin codes. The first two digits are on the left, second two digits are on the right. You can see some very, very clear trends. Birth year, 19XX, anything beginning with one, for whatever reason, incredibly common, and 001122, etc., right on down the line. Don't do it. Don't make it easy for them. There's a story about, it's apocryphal, I'm sure, story about two people who are out camping, and in the middle of the night they hear some snuffling outside, and they unzip the tent, and it's a bear. And one person jumps up and starts running, and the other person starts putting their shoes on. And the first person's like, "What are you doing? It's a bear." Second person's like, "Yeah, but it isn't the bear I have to outrun. It's the other person." Don't be the easy one. This is my point. Let somebody else be the victim in this case. You're already dealing with enough sort of psychological uncertainty. This is my sort of summary slide. Uh, Scammers are exploiting our psychology. They're using standard techniques, but they're using them in new ways, and they're using them with new technology. It's the humans that are the weak point these days, not the technology as much. AI is a force multiplier. They can create deep fakes. They can hyper personalize to get around your natural defenses. They can use adaptive attacks. Your information is not only easy to find, it's already out there. Um, so you need to make sure that uh, you are as much as possible countering it on the front end. Your critical accounts need critical protection. Your email, your primary email account especially. Get your codes. You can download a set of codes that you can store locally, that if someone locks you out, you can use them to get in. Um, Multi-factor authentication, uh, whatever it is, go into your security settings, especially for your primary email, and lock it down. And good habits beat good luck. Make a plan. This stuff is, I think someone said, you're not going to do this quickly. You need to go through, make sure your password, set a plan for the next 6 months if you need to. 3 passwords a week. Just start with the most critical. Start working on implementing multi-factor authentication. But it's so much less trouble and worry than being compromised. Stay skeptical, slow down, and confirm everything. Thank you.
People are putting some other tips in the chat, like having a safe word for family members
Yes.
and not using Google. Uh, some other things were mentioned in the chat as well. But you think the safe word is a good idea, I assume.
It's one of my favorite words of 2025. There's something called a shibboleth. And a shibboleth, it's kind of the original safe word. It was used by the Semite tribe way, way back biblical times. They were in a war, and it's a word they used that only they knew how to pronounce. So they would hold it up and say, pronounce this word. And if they pronounced it wrong, but the point is something that only your people would recognize. I think it's critically important, especially if you're answering phone calls or if someone who says they're one of your people connect, stop and take a second and say, okay, where did we go to school together? Or what was my nickname in elementary school? I think it's if you have something, especially for your immediate family, that's preset, it's a good idea. Go with that. Excellent. Any other questions before I drop off and let y'all continue? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Uh, I'm supposed to do this. They always tell me to do this. Yeah, that. Um, this is partially my job. Um, I do it for money. This was not a sales presentation. This is informational. But if you know somebody who does need support getting started with a password manager or anything in that we've talked about, I can help.
What
Um,
is what does the EA stand for, Mike?
executive assistant.
Okay.
It
So
was
are you currently looking for a job in both of those areas?
I'm actively working as an executive assistant for a couple of small companies. And I've got some additional single clients on the side. I am also advertising work as for this sideline business called Personal Digital Security. It's something I started recently again because family members of mine have lost like a total of about $300,000. And it's something I don't know of anybody else out there doing this. And I think it is critically important. I mean, our habits are just not up to the current threats. Um, so I'm also applying to jobs in part because insurance and the grind of having to get constant clients to be able to make enough money to pay our bills is hard. So I'm seeing what happens before our runway runs out. I'm applying for jobs. I'm looking for clients. I am doing personal digital assessments, and we'll see what happens.
I would like to ask anybody out there regarding any fake recruiters that you've come across or that you think you've come across. Do you mind unmuting and kind of sharing your tale of that? So Mike has an idea as to how to maybe spot it next. It sounds like you spotted it, but maybe make sure that you're warded off next time.
Yeah, I have a recent one. So I just recently, actually a week and a half ago, posted on LinkedIn that I was open to work. I got a little flurry of recruiters reaching out to me with opportunities. I didn't do anything immediately, but for one of them, like the next day, I went to look that person up, and the profile didn't exist anymore. But then a week later, the profile was back. I'm like, well, that was odd. So I just responded and said, sure, I'll talk. And then that person contacted me back in LinkedIn today. I just FYI, I'm not recruiting. Somebody hacked me. She had to go through the process of trying to get her profile back. But anyway, I was just trying to test my assumption that it was fake when she popped back up to see what would happen. Yeah, sure enough, she acknowledged somebody attacked her.
Thanks, Andre. And just one quick uh, something apropos to nothing. There's a little bit of feedback on your microphone, just so you're aware if you're doing like
Yeah,
an interview or something.
I'm going to take advantage of Prime Day and get a new camera.
Yeah, I do it. Last day today. That Sandra Pennington, quote unquote, recruiter that reached out to me. It wasn't, she reached out about a quote unquote, she reached out about a job in the medical industry. And I responded with, as I do to recruiters who want to somehow recruit me, I let them know we have a LinkedIn group, we're a job club, etc. But when I went to respond to the message, it was her identity, her profile was there. When I went back to say something else or whatever I needed to do, or just checked another one, it had gone to just LinkedIn profile. And so, and then also she was asking, quote unquote, she was asking me to respond via WhatsApp. And I'm like, I don't think any recruiter worth their salt, at least in the United States, is going to be using that app as a means of recruitment. I mean, I may be wrong, but it just seemed very hinky to me, and for obvious reasons.
I think it also is important for everybody to know that you will never be asked for your social security number until you are hired.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest scam out there. I even have heard of crooks who have advertised executive jobs in the Wall Street Journal, and they're asking for social security numbers as a part of the application process. And it's just, you think, wow, this was in the Wall Street Journal and somebody paid a lot of money to put in this ad. Well, if they get your social, they're really in deep.
I'd like to share something that came across my text messages the other day, which kind of freaked me out because I didn't have this phone number in my contacts list. And it said, I'll read it to you. It said, "Hey, Barry, just checking in to see if you still need help with your resume. Last we checked, your ATS score was only 32%, which is quite low and may not pass most filters. Let me know if you'd like to work on improving it." I don't know who this is. I have no contact with this phone number in my database. So it could be something just as subtle as this. And so I'm really questioning websites that I visit these days to make sure that I'm not going to some place that I don't recognize or I don't know for sure is legit, because these people are very good at scamming us. And all it takes, like Mike said, is you just being emotionally vulnerable at a point in time, and next thing you know, bam, they got you.
Thanks, Barry. June asked, I've got the chat up. June asked about using Google account to streamline logins to other accounts. Um, I don't for any account that has money attached. And that is these days most of my accounts. Um, I don't even do it for Netflix. Uh, yeah, Barry says don't do it. I'll do it for um, something where I just go. Uh, I don't even know which ones I have it for. I've got it for a couple for things that I consider uh, losable. where I don't share any personal information. But otherwise, no. I strongly Google security is pretty good. But I still don't do it.
Hey, I just got one. I just want you guys to figure out, is this a call? Is this a good one? Here, while you were talking, I got a text from Adina from Qualtrics. It's a flexible working hours job for providing updates to App Store data, increase app views, downloads, providing for free training. And I can earn up to $100 to $500 a day. I get all kind of free benefit or paternity leave benefits, and they want me to send a text message back to a number. I
This
get
is
those
critical
probably.
and something
I get something like that maybe about twice a month. I usually laugh because when you look at the text message or the number that it came from, it's an iCloud. And then before that, there's just a whole bunch of letters and numbers and junk, and then a .ra. Usually that's a server extension that you can actually Google a .ra server extension, which probably is foreign, probably Romania, being that starts with an R. But anyway, um, again, what do y'all think about that? I don't know if y'all get those all the time or what.
it makes the point that I'm still trying to make. It it gets un it try, they're trying to get underneath your defenses by something you hope for. Wow, that would be great. 1 to 500 a day, work from home. Fantastic. This is something you're in a place where hope is, you hope you get a job. You hope you can pay your bills. Um, but another critical point, don't engage. Do not ever respond to those. They know you're live that way.
Yeah, they're playing on your emotions.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up. I've never done that. So, for texting though, for an iPhone, there's the report junk
Yeah.
button. Is that good to select, or is that a way that they know now that there is a live text message?
Report it.
Because if
There
it's
is,
because if they get reported, right? Say they get reported back to back to Apple. Apple contacts them. Guess what? Bing. Yes, I know I've gotten it's already, they're fake. They know how to weed that out. But oh, boom, I know now this is a live phone. See what I'm saying?
it's not your phone that gets reported on that one.
That's
They're
right.
doing this, they're doing this hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of times.
And Apple doesn't report it. They just send it to an agency that then says this is spam.
And they know they're going to get reported. It's in a way it's just playing whack-a-mole, but it's better to do it than not.
Okay. So the report junk function there is not a way that they can tell that this is actually a live phone.
No.
Not from anything I've seen yet.
Yeah, they don't tell you. Nobody tells you anything, and to me, it's just a big guess because everything,
Yes.
they happen. Everything happens in the background, right? So anyway, I continue to do it, but I still continue to get these, and they're good at spoofing numbers too. Just FYI, very good at spoofing numbers, even though they're foreign. They're a foreign enemy. They spoof a number that's in your area code right next to you, right?
This is actually a really good point. One of the CEOs that I currently support got an email from his email address.
Yeah, I did that too. And in fact, I put it in the chat there. I got an email from my email saying it was undeliverable, a meeting request for
Hmm.
for a calendar meeting request, and it went to Google. It even had the .ics extension, file that was on it. Um, Figured out that I sat there and looked at it, and I was like, "No, no, that's fake, fake as can be."
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting incredibly sophisticated. That's why you need to slow down.
But
There
anyway,
is there is zero harm in saying, I'll call you back on an official number, tell me how to contact you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you, of course, the text DMV one. I don't know, everybody's probably getting those, right? Saying that, yeah, you've got a toll or you're something's bad with your with your registration, and the law enforcement's coming to get you. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What about those emails that say you have an invoice? It's usually an invoice from Google or
PayPal.
Apple or, very big company. What's the best thing to do? Do you just delete it or do you forward it to phishing? And, what do you do?
Depends on how much time and patience I have. Mostly I just delete them straight away. Sometimes I will take the time to report them as phishing.
Okay. And you can always report support at or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't bother.
Yeah. And be
Okay.
careful if it's an email or something, be careful when you delete, because when you just delete, it's on your computer. So it's in your deleted folder. You got to go back and delete it and then do the computer delete where it deletes it completely. So you got to be careful there. Yep. Yep. Otherwise, it's on your computer, and they know that too, right? There's a little bot that's in there that knows that it's now in a deleted folder, and yep, so things can continue to happen. So,
Hey, Kathy,
June,
have we recorded Mike's session today? Because I was a little late.
Yes, it's recorded.
Okay, thanks. I really want to hear how he got into this.
short answer is about 5 or 6 family members lost about $300,000. And I started helping other family members and thought, this is something that we need more of.
Okay, I love it. I never thought about that.
Um, just real quick, June asked about removing political party spam. You can usually just text stop if it's confirmed that it's real, and they'll stop. Because I get those all the time as well.
Oh no, it doesn't stop. Unsubscribe, stop. I call the political party. For 6 weeks, I did it twice, and I said it's not effective. What are you doing differently this time? Because I get them 15 minutes with images, and overloads my phone where I can't add anything. But I learned to not download immediately and block and delete, but it's I can't get focused when they send it constantly. So I don't know if it's some kind of additional, how they say overseas Russians will send and try to, I don't know. But I don't know if anybody else has tips because it's invading my focus in my brain.
Turn off notifications is the best way I've found if you're that concerned. I get them all the time too.
Sorry, notifications?
Yeah, for your texts.
It's go ahead and Google how do I turn off notifications on my phone. That'll get you.
Oh, I have do not disturb on all day. It's not, it's just piled on there. Yeah, mixed with others. So thank you.
Okay. Looks as though Q&A took you all the way to 10:30, 11:30. Forgot where I am.
It's important stuff. Happy to have the engagement.
Yeah, this was great. It's going to be useful going forward for months and months, if not years. I especially worry about people that, for whatever reason, have to have a remote job. And so I think when there isn't a physical place that you go, there's not, sometimes it's just difficult to ascertain what's an online scam, but people that need a remote job, I think it's a particular threat.
I told Mike, I think this is the first time, at least in my time with the Job Globe, which was the 13 years, that I can recall somebody doing a presentation specifically geared toward security and safety. And of course, I've been there since 2012. Things have changed dramatically in that time frame, and we all went to Zoom overnight during COVID. So I can see how more of us, and I mean, even I have fallen prey to, somebody. I got them about 400. They got about $400 from me, which I consider to be getting off cheaply compared to what things can happen to so many other people. So thank you, Mike, for this presentation.
Yeah, you're
You
getting
bet. My pleasure.
lots of appreciation, lots of love on the chat. You definitely
My
want to
pleasure.
save your chat. Uh,
Okay.
anyway, thank you so much. This was a wonderful presentation. We may uh, wait a while and have you back again as things are updated and more insidious.
You bet. My pleasure. And I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, y'all.
All right.